True or false? Compared to my parents, I feel that there are less opportunities for me than they had when they were my age.
No. I feel like there's more.
More opportunities.
No, I feel like there's more, especially like with technology. Technology nowadays, you can go anywhere and have opportunities. My parents, I mean, they left their, country of origin for opportunity. And, they were able to achieve a lot. Mom being born in Australia, then moving from Australia to Canada. And then my father being American. His parents were in the Navy. They traveled all the time. He was able to travel everywhere. And then eventually from North Carolina moved to St. Martin to build his business. I feel like nowadays, they didn't have technology back then as much as like we have today. So communication is a big thing that was lacking back then. Social media, you can grow almost any sort of business with just a phone in your hand.
I think that there's more opportunity. I think factually speaking, if somebody said factually, obviously it would be crazy to say there's less. I worry though that the extra opportunity and the extra focuses and the extra directions has almost paralyzed people, because instead of having a sense of maybe individual or single options that they can do to advance their lives, to dig into, they get almost paralyzed by the wide range of choices. So there's more opportunities, but I find today people seem less decisive.
That is very true. I do feel like I feel that way sometimes too.
Really?
Yeah.
For sure.
Coming from a small island and then moving to the city, you're just like, your eyes open. Sure. You're like, oh my God, what is there to do?
Sure.
And then as soon as I started to like dive into different areas and corners and, even skills, hobbies, I could never stick to something because there's always something new happening. Yeah, I do feel like also like social media has a big impact in that as well, for sure.
You think social media is why people are paralyzed for choice, or they see too many options?
Too many options, yeah. I feel like social media is just like every day. I mean, I don't know about you, but like being on a phone, like I'm sure you're on a phone a lot, especially for business.
Yeah.
But being on a phone, there's so many of these apps that you can just open. And the first thing you open, it's just like based off of what someone's job or career is, or like what they're doing in the moment. Like, where am I at right now in the world? Oh, I'm traveling in Bali and I, have a swimwear brand. Or, oh, I live in Toronto, Ontario, and I'm selling my course. Or, there's always something going on, and we're so distracted with these phones, and we can't just find like just one path to stick to. And yeah, you're right about that. Like, there are more opportunities, but it's whether or not like we can stick to them or not.
Well, I think to some extent there's more opportunities, but there's less reward now for pursuing those opportunities. So, I mean, it's the age-old thing of, like my grandpa worked at GM for 40 years and was able to afford a big house on a single income, like all those things that are a lot more difficult now. But at the same time, because of social media and because there's less reward for those opportunities, I think people feel very pressured to turn anything that they enjoy doing into something to make money, which studies basically show that makes you stop enjoying something. Like if you try to commodify it, it becomes work and then it's no longer enjoyable.
Yeah.
So it's sort of this weird cycle of like people endlessly pursuing these opportunities of things that they enjoy because they want to make some extra money.
Yeah.
Then they don't enjoy them anymore, so they stop doing them, and then they start finding a different hobby that they then think, I'll turn that into a money-making opportunity, and it's sort of this cycle.
You just defined like me, who I am as a person. Really fun fact, like when I was living in the city during COVID, I sold paintings. Like I used to paint. I'm a really good painter, and I've done art my whole life. Wow. And I sold a lot of paintings. I eventually, I don't know what happened. Money wasn't doing that well. I was selling them and they were really good, but then they started to slow down. And as soon as they started to slow down, I started to think, like, is it my work? Like, is it me, like, not painting well enough? Or, like, am I doing something wrong? And it was all about money. But when I think about it now, it's like I grew up painting and I went to art classes and put music in my ears just to get away. That was, like, my peace. And as soon as I started to involve money with it, it was like I didn't enjoy it anymore. And I don't think I've painted as much as I did during the pandemic since that happened. Even other little smaller businesses I've started too. Like I had a candle business. It's called Avec Plaisir. I started pouring candles right after the pandemic and selling them and doing the logo, brand identity, all that stuff. Like I'm in school for graphic design. So I'm really good at like doing all that stuff. It went really well, social media. And then, again, I started to slow down, didn't get as much orders, didn't keep to it, didn't like stick to it, didn't enjoy it as much. Went from enjoying pouring candles and like smelling them and like designing the whole brand identity to why am I not getting any orders? Why is it like, it's all about money nowadays. It's crazy. Like anything you try and dive into, you immediately try and like tie it to money. And it can be really sad too, because then you stop like doing your hobbies and doing what you like because you're trying to monetize it.
This also sounds like a very ADHD experience.
Yeah, like I'm about to say that. I don't know if this seems very connected to what you're describing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is like sometimes I like want to stick to something, but there's always opportunities and things around the corner that just like interest me even more.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it could be my ADHD. It could be just like I'm not focusing hard enough on something, but I'll like something a lot and I'll like want to pursue it not for the money, but then eventually like money gets into it because I want to like.
Excuse my ignorance, but when we're describing ADHD, the way to beat ADHD isn't just to say you'll focus more. I mean, you have this natural propensity to. So I don't want to put it on you of like, oh, you know what, man, in face of the ADHD, just focus more. Like I don't.
Well, that's
what
I've been told my whole life. It's like you have ADHD, focus more. Like
that's not the answer. That's not. Is that? I don't think that's what we're supposed to say.
I didn't mean that derogatorily. I mean, I know a lot of people with ADHD who have a lot of hyperfixation. So you hyperfixate on one thing, pour a lot of your energy into it, and then once you sort of get over the hump of like all this time and energy invested into it, there's another thing, and then you start focusing on that. I don't mean that as a bad thing at all.
I like it. I'm not saying that ADHD is terrible. I'm just saying that like I've learned to work with it. And obviously with that, I have to accept that like I'm interested in so many things at the same time. So yeah.
I used to have a business partner like that. Could come up with ideas in a week, like, hey, let's do this business. It's gonna be what we're gonna do now. It's gonna be fantastic. Didn't like running the businesses because I think all humans, the dopamine, the excitement of a new idea is so intoxicating. And like you think, this doesn't exist right now. I'm gonna make it exist.
You're gonna be like, it's gonna work.
It's right. I'm gonna pour oh my God, this smells amazing. It's in look at the shape it's in. I'm gonna sell it now. I've sold one.
Yeah.
And then after you do that, it's like, I have to keep selling the same thing I just made. No, I'd rather
want to make something else.
I want to build. So a lot of times I think it's like the pairings when we talk about business, but you and I always lament this. I don't know how you feel. There's this push towards, and you would say that this is the natural conclusion of a capitalist society, where we inevitably are sucking the joy out of everything that people do because we live in a society that forces you to feel that everything has to be monetized.
Yeah, I mean, I think that also, again, it goes hand in hand with, if you can work 9 to 5 at an easily achievable job or an easily gettable job and live a very comfortable lifestyle, I think you do your hobbies for fun. But most people don't experience that these days. Most people work their 9 to 5 or whatever their hours are, and they're still short. Or, if you live in a city, maybe you pay your rent and your bills, but you have very little left to go out and enjoy the city, so you have your side hustle. And I think that's very normal for most people now.
Cost of living is high. When cost of living is high, I feel like people are just like, they're on hustle mode.
Yeah.
So they'll take their hobbies and they'll abuse them to the point where they're like, I gotta suck every penny out of it. Like I gotta try and make money off of it because the cost of living is so high. I can't function with my regular 9 to 5. Like for me, like I never really thought about money as much as I did in the city. And when I like eventually I have my job, like I'm okay with it. I don't work crazy hours. I have a lot of time on my businesses. If I want to like pour candles, do jewelry, like I have like many little hobbies that I've played around with and tried to like, make businesses. But I have a lot of time on my hands. And when you have a lot of time on your hands and you don't have a lot of income and cost of living is high, you're like, fuck, what else is there to do?
Yeah.
Let me try and make money off of what I have. Like,
Yeah.
you know?